Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host, Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of April 1st, 2021, including Xbox held an ID at Xbox livestream event this last week that offered tons of updates on some of the biggest games coming from the smallest developers. Rumors about Call of Duty 2021 have begun to surface. We got a not-so-surprising rumor about Halo Infinite's launch date, and more. You know what? I'm in a great mood this week, and I don't know why. Just kidding. I actually know exactly why. You know, here we are on the eve of April 1st, which is an infamous, April 1st being an infamous day. It is the April Fool's Day, where websites like to put out silly articles that aren't true, and then people like to go, oh, it's April Fool's Day. Of course I'm not going to believe this. Or, there's always that small minority of people who are like, really? Really? They're gonna put Batman in that new Fast and Furious movie after all? Oh man. And then they're like, oh shit, it's April 1st, which means Batman's not gonna be fast or furious. But today we have a really special announcement, because it seems like someone out there posted an article saying that, Halo Infinite had been delayed yet again. But you see, it was a preemptive April Fool's Day joke, and everyone with the big brain, all of us, who listen to the show, of course, probably pretty enlarged brains, maybe so enlarged that your doctor might want to have a specialist take a look at it because it's just too big. But, for people like us with big brains and people, normal people with relatively decent sized brains, we all know, hey, that guy's trying to get a little sneaky, do a little 12-hour early April Fool's Day. As I sit here on Wednesday night recording this podcast. But no, some people had tiny brains and they get tricked by these jokes, by these fools, these April Fools, if you will. And Kotaku just happens to be one of those fools, because they posted a story that Halo Infinite had been delayed yet again. But now they had to retract the story and say, we are stupid bitches. This is quote what they said. We are stupid bitches. Halo Infinite is still slated to come out in 2021. So you guys can all play Halo Infinite by the end of 2021, but we will continue to be dumb bitches. Sincerely, Kotaku, a website run by a bunch of dumb bitches. That's what their tweet said. Their words, not mine. I don't know what to tell you guys. So I guess they think they're dumb bitches too. So that's just that. But, I put a smile on my face to see Kotaku be a little dumb. It makes me a little sad, though, because this is probably the first time I've ever seen Kotaku retract an article for false information, which is sad because they've published way more detrimental news and false news than this before in the past, but they never really retract their news ever. So it's funny how, when they get the release date of Halo Infinite wrong, they can retract that information, but when they write like libel about some really not so evil game influencers and YouTubers and shit like that, they get to just go around throwing around really crazy and wild assertions about these people they haven't done their research on. And then when it turns out they're wrong about it, or they spread false information, they can just ignore the article and move on. So interesting to see that be the case. But hey, Kotaku are a bunch of, they say about April Fools, they're a bunch of dumb bitches. So that's why I'm in such a good mood today. Also, I'm in a great mood because I just renewed my pass to the Universal Orlando Resort. So I'm actually really excited. It's been about 8 months or so since I last went to Universal. And I know for most people it's like, oh, that's pretty recent. But no, like I have a weird issue where I'm just like, wow, it's been 8 months since I've been on Woody Woodpecker's Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. That's got to be rectified immediately. So I've actually never even been on the Woody Woodpecker roller coaster. I don't even fucking know what it's called, but it's fun for me as a fan of the theme park going experience to be like, wow, I haven't been to this theme park in a while. That means it's practically going to feel like brand new when I go there. So I'm excited for that. I've heard murmurings of a pork schnitzel being sold that looks like I'll have to check this out. I'll have to do some investigating. You see, Kotaku, you could learn a thing or two from me. You could write about the pork schnitzel, assuming that it's delicious, or you could go and do the hard-hitting investigative journalism reporting that I'm about to do, Get yourself an annual pass. Go down to the Universal Orlando Resort here in Central Florida and try the goddamn sandwich out for yourself. That's what I'm going to do. But then again, I'm not a stupid bitch. Imagine if this is your first time listening to Xbox On. You're like, okay, Xbox podcast. It's about dumb bitches and theme parks, okay? It's the show all about the Xbox. And I want to jump into some... today's kind of a light week, I'll be honest. The news isn't too big, too crazy. There's not too much going on here. So it might be a little bit shorter of an episode, knock on wood. I fucking doubt it. But here we are. I don't got much to say before we jump into our comments, but I do have a little PSA I'd like to start the show off with. One Mr. Lethal Migraine writes in and says, ketchup doesn't belong on anything. Full stop. I'm going to do a moment of silence for that one. Thank you with that public service announcement, Mr. Lethal Migraine. And now we're going to jump into our comments, shout-outs, questions, what have you. You see, guys, normally I start with some corrections, but I don't do anything wrong, so I got nothing to correct, okay? So we'll go to the comments. The comments, you go over to youtube.com. You look up Second Best Gaming. Don't ask me why it's called that. It's my channel. You click on it, you see the Xbox On playlist. You click on that and nothing else. You do not scroll down to the Cars 3 videos from 5 years ago. Please don't do that. You go down to the Xbox On podcast, you click on the latest episode, you leave a comment, you say something cool like, Roller Coaster Typhoon is my favorite flavor of Mountain Dew. You hit enter, I read it on the show. It's as simple as that. That's all you gotta do. Hit the thumbs up while you like there. Don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, and bell button. I don't even know if there is a bell button anymore, but you can do it anyway, okay? And that's how you comment on the Xbox On. I'll probably read your comment because I'm desperate for attention. Now, jumping into our first official comment of the week, Mr. Sam Torres says, how would you feel about Taco Bell opening a hotel with thrill rides or indoor amusement park rides? For example, a coaster called the Encha-Looper or a flume ride called the Cheesy Double Dipper with bright orange lights in the water. Okay, Sam Torres, first things first. If you can make theme park chlorine water look like nacho cheese, I will forever be in your debt, okay? Because that will alleviate my fear of swimming in water that has been peed or pooed in. Because not that it means, changing the color of the water means there can't be any pee or poo. It just means the color is so distorted at that point you can't even begin to fathom what to even be on the lookout for. So I do appreciate that. But how would I feel? I'd feel amazing, Sam. As I responded back to you, I said Taco Bell opens a themed resort with a theme park or a water park or something attached to it. I don't care where in the world they put that shit. You can put it in Nova Scotia for all I give a shit. This is my response. Bye-bye Disney World. Hello Taco Town. Okay? Because that's where I'm going to go. That's where I'm going to live, is the Taco Bell theme park. That's a great idea, Sam Torres. I'm going to take that idea from you now. I'm going to find some investors. I'm going to get with Taco Bell and license their IP if Taco Bell counts as an IP. And then we're going to get that shit built. And you're not going to get a fucking dime for it. You hear me? Thank you very much, Sam. Next up, Count Skyla says, does anyone remember back in the 90s? I know we're going way back. When a select few McDonald's locations sold personal-sized pizzas. There were 2 in Kansas, I found, 1 in Missouri, and I'm sure they had some other pilot programs elsewhere. Anyways, you'd pull up, you'd order your pizza, they'd make you pull forward and wait like 30 minutes while they made it, but it was so freaking good. It had like crumblies all over the bottom. My wife is like the only person I've ever met who knows what I'm even talking about. Side note, I assume that's how Count Skyla and his wife knew that they were meant to be together, was that the discovery of that shared experience. But continuing on, it was in the same vein as the Subway pizzas they had for a while back, but about 900 times better. Anyways, there's no good info about it online other than McDonald's pizza is now only available in Florida, which is like brick oven, which I haven't had, but it's not at all the same thing. Just putting feelers out there because it's haunted me for decades that I can't access this pizza anymore. I still smell and taste it in my brain. Update. So I actually did a little more research just now because it's been a couple of years since I've tried to look it up. And I did find a McPizza site which sort of aligns with my childhood memories. The pizza picture does not look like the pizzas I would get, but I do believe that they were called the McPizzas. I do sort of remember the box. Now, Count Skyla, Joe Murphy chimes in along with this comment you've left here to say, I remember that pizza from McDonald's. It was not so good. Not many people remember that. I haven't thought about it in a long time since your comment. Now I want one. So it was so good that even though it wasn't good, you still made Joe Murphy want one of these pizzas, Count Skyla. So now you're responsible for that. That's on your hands. But I really want to, first of all, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention, because this sounds like one of those things where, like, I swear I've heard of this before, but I just forgot, and now you're reminding me of it. But the fact of the matter is I probably never heard of it, and I'm just trying not to sound feel left out or too young to be in the know. But regardless, this is very important information, and I do thank you for bringing it up so that all the listeners on the show right now can think back to the far recesses of your brain, your big brains, because remember, we're not Kotaku, we have big brains here. Tell me, what do you remember about the McDonald's pizza? I looked it up on YouTube. I tried to remember, or I tried to find something on it. I couldn't really find much at all, to be honest. Other than apparently, yes, they used to sell pizzas, but there are certain McDonald's locations that would do like full family-size pizzas somewhere in the, I don't remember if it said the mid-'80s or the early 90s, but that's one thing I was able to find, but I wasn't able to find much information else otherwise on this. And to be fair, I wasn't really digging. I didn't even go to the Bing or the Google to look anything up. I just solely searched into YouTube. But I don't know what to say, man. This is frustrating. You know, this is the kind of whitewashing of history and culture that I can't stand to see anymore, where you have a McDonald's that, you know, McDonald's is kind of on the bandwagon that most American businesses are on these days, where they're like trying to do that weird thing where they're like, you know, in the 80s and the 90s, we got so loud and wild with our aesthetic. And then in the mid 2000s, we tried to like do something that was different, but not quite as loud. And now in the 2010s and beyond, what we've kind of gotten into is this age of like inheriting some aesthetic inspiration from the past, from the early days, while also trying to neuter the fuck out of everything and make it really bland and modern. So you see like brands like McDonald's do this, where like McDonald's has taken out all the personality, all the color, all the loudness, all the charm that the 80s and 90s brought in with it. And they're trying to like pick up a little bit of that like old school McDonald's aesthetic from like that you might remember from like the 50s or the 60s or something like that, but then also make it really like open and light and bright and basic and modern and boring inside. And so McDonald's is one of those brands, you know, and they'll try to be all like, remember McDonald's history. We got the cheeseburger. Remember Ray Kroc? He's a bad guy apparently, but he's played by that Michael Keaton guy who sure does love cocaine. And remember the French fries? Yeah, we make you like French fries. You know how good a Coke tastes at McDonald's? Shut up and drink one. Don't even ask a question about it. Oh, you know, the Big Mac, the Quarter Pounder, our history. We want to remember our history, but what they're failing to remember in their history is their failures along with their successes. And I feel like, based on what I'm hearing here, is that the McDonald's pizza is something that is a failure. McDonald's does not want to look back on and have remembered. They want to bury that past. It's like that time that the Walt Disney Company made all those World War II propaganda videos with the Donald Duck and the Nazis that always gets misinterpreted by people when they try to bring this up because they don't actually do the research on it. It's like one of those things. McDonald's is like, we don't want you to remember the pizza. We don't want you to remember the Nazis. All of it. You can't remember any of it. And it's really frustrating because you think they could at least, you know, if you're not going to sell the McPizza on the menu, the very least you could do is maybe have like a memorial poster with pictures explaining and like a couple paragraphs explaining what it was, so that when people go into a McDonald's location, they can see the poster on the wall, read the excerpt, be reminded of the history, or be enlightened and educated and introduced to the history that we should all know, which is the McPizza. In fact, I'm in contact with my good friends over in Texas at the McGraw textbook factory people, and I'm lobbying lots of money right now. It's actually your Patreon and advertisement dollars I'm using to lobby to these textbook creators to see if we can get a chapter dedicated to discontinued fast food items of the 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s. So I do appreciate you bringing this to my attention, and I hope that our future generations will be educated on this matter very soon in an elementary, middle, or high school near them. Now, yeah, the last thing I want to say to this, other than Subway made a pizza that's fucking gross, fuck Subway, the only other thing I want to say to this is that, hey, you brought up the pizzas here, the pizzas at McDonald's in Florida. So I live near that McDonald's. We're kind of near. I live like 25 minutes from that McDonald's. It is the 2-story. They call it the world's largest McDonald's. I kind of don't believe it's the largest, but it is pretty large. It's 2 floors. The top floor has an arcade. They have an audio animatronic of that moon guy. It's pretty fucking cool, but I got to be honest, guys. I've had the McDonald's pizza at that place. Now, I know, Count Scottula, what you're saying is it's a different pizza. Don't confuse the two. I know. But I want to let you know I've had pizza at McDonald's. It is brick oven pizza. You are correct. They also make pastas, and they have a full-blown bakery where they have like cakes and pies and shit like that. So it's a really cool McDonald's, and I've been to it many times. But I must say, because it's smack dab in the middle of the International Drive tourist corridor, over by the Universal Orlando Resort, by the way. Because it's over in that neck of the woods, it is very expensive. It is very much a tourist attraction, which, I have no problem with. I love that shit. But it's like, your regular $7 combo for like a Big Mac or whatever is suddenly like $11 or $12 at this location. So it's not the go-to McDonald's for me. I don't mind driving out of the way to go to it, but I'm not crazy about the price hike. But I will say, I've had pizza and pasta at this McDonald's on multiple occasions, and while it's not the McPizza you're remembering here, it is very good pizza. So if you ever find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, where we are happy to accept your tourist dollars because we are hurting here, our local economy is hurting, please do come. I must recommend the pasta, the Alfredo pasta, or the brick oven pizza at the McDonald's here on the International Drive. It is quite special. It's something very unusual. It's the kind of thing you can go back to your friends in Kansas and tell them all about. Now, we got to move on, guys. McDonald's used to have pizza. How wild. But we got to move on. Patrick Jouch, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, writes in and says, well deserved getting those 1K plus regular listeners on Spotify alone. Back a couple of dozen episodes ago when I joined the fellowship of your show, I was wondering how much fast food stuff there can be in an Xbox podcast. Like, what the hell? But only now I know that I did not follow an actual Xbox podcast, but rather a weekly Diaries of Jesse DeRosa show. I'm not even interested in many of the rather unrelated topics covered, but I'm really enjoying the commenting and satirical views. Keep this, quote, misfit, unquote, stuff going, and more will surely come. Considering commercials, I suggest to go with the most absurd stuff offered to you. So at least we will keep on having a lot of fun with your show. P.S. Seriously, some cringe-worthy videos out there, though. Cars, of course, referring to my old YouTube content, which you can go ahead and smash that subscribe button if you like to see no more of that, because I don't post it anymore. Thank you for your comment, Patrick. I just want to read that because, one, it's really nice. I appreciate that you weighing in on that and validating my biggest insecurity, which is what if people stop listening to my Xbox show because I don't talk about Xbox on it. So I do appreciate those kind words. And welcome to the show. Thank you for reaching out. Remember, if you have an iPhone device, an Apple device, please do go ahead and rate me 5 stars on iTunes. You can talk all about how Jesse was a little off his stuff this week, rambling on a bit too much about some theme park and fast food related information. But next up, Flips Mad Max comes in and says, no, I'll never refer to it as Xbox Network. It'll always be Xbox Live, and this will be a thing only kids will remember Xbox Live. Quote, I'll always call it live by nature unless they somehow got all multiplayer games free. It's going to be live. Only then I'll allow myself to call it network. Well, Flips, that's kind of part of the deal, actually, is you will be allowed to play multiplayer games for free. They're going to remove that barrier and make it to where if you're playing, if you bought Call of Duty and you put it on your Xbox and you don't have Xbox Live, quote unquote, yeah, you can play online for free. Or if you download Roblox or something like that, you can just go ahead and play for free. You don't need to subscribe to any service in order to be able to access online. That's actually exactly what they're doing, and it's in testing right now for Xbox Insiders. So we're already there. It's already happening right now. Flips, you already got it. You got to pay up. You promise you start calling it Xbox Network. Go ahead and do it. Now, just as a reminder, I don't know if I made this really clear. I tried to, but I think I made it a little messy sounding. They're not saying that they're changing the name from Xbox Live to Xbox Network. They're saying they're removing the Xbox Live moniker. So it's just going to be called Xbox. Basically, Xbox Network is a way to internally refer to the online services offered by Xbox. So, Xbox Live is a name we know because it's a paid-for subscription service we use to get party chat and the ability to play games online and get games with gold and stuff like that. That's why the name Xbox Live exists. The reason why it's going away isn't because it's being replaced by Xbox Network, but because games are going to be, playing online on games is going to be a free feature on Xbox going forward. Party chats, things like that, it's all going to be free features going forward. You're basically going to only have one subscription service option, and it's going to be Game Pass. So that's the whole reasoning behind this, is we're getting rid of Xbox Live because Xbox Live, the service, is slowly being phased out, if you will. So again, Xbox Network is a way for people who work at Microsoft to refer to the network, the online infrastructure and things like that. It's not really a way for common folk like you and I, who, by the way, have massive sized brains, to be oh, get on Xbox Network tonight so we can play Call of Duty. It's no. Get on Xbox tonight. Oh, can you play Call of Duty? Yes, because I don't need to be subscribed to a service like Xbox Live. So it's not meant to be a thing that we use to refer to Xbox Network as. We're just going to call it Xbox. And the network is a way to refer to the online services. It's not a brand. It is a way for people to distinguish Xbox, which is the brand, from its online services, which is Xbox Network. So I hope that puts your mind at ease a little bit. Sorry if it still sounds messy, but I think I made my point clear enough that you can probably in some way figure out what it is I'm trying to say. Lethal Migraine, why'd you come back? Why are you back here? Welcome back. You say Microsoft would be buying Discord for the tech, not so much the platform. It would be left alone as a company like Bethesda. So Lethal Migraine, I agree that, yeah, I think they would probably mostly leave it alone like they did with Bethesda, or like they have with like LinkedIn, or like what they would have done if they actually bought TikTok. I absolutely agree. I think the intention is to buy Discord and mostly leave it alone, but maybe integrate it a little more closely with Xbox because it does help the Xbox brand. However, I disagree with you when you say they're only buying it for the tech. Yes, there is some really interesting tech that they get as a result of this acquisition, but I think the bigger thing they're buying here is the audience. It's the Discord community, because that's really the hard thing. Microsoft has very intelligent, very talented people working for them. They could build whatever they want technology-wise. The thing that Xbox, or Microsoft rather, can't just go willy-nilly buying or building easily is community. And that's something Microsoft really struggles with a lot, especially with brands like Xbox. Microsoft isn't seen as a quote-unquote cool company the way that companies like Apple and Sony are a lot of the time. So that's part of, Xbox is the only Microsoft-owned brand that's viewed as cool. And so if you can buy Discord, then you get a massive community along with that, and you automatically have the cool factor. Whereas if you build a competitor to Discord, you can make better tech than what Discord has as a competitor. But you can't just build the community guaranteed. It's a hit or miss. It's like Mixer. Look at Mixer. Mixer was an objectively better service than Twitch. It came later than Twitch. It never built a community the way Twitch did, but it was a better service. It had better features. It had lower latency. It had more audience participation with the streamers. In fact, Twitch eventually started to kind of get inspired by some of the features Mixer offered. Mixer was a better service than Twitch for all intents and purposes, but it still failed. Why? Because it didn't build the community. Twitch had the community, and that's always Microsoft's biggest problem. Zune was a really, really cool product. I don't know if you guys know this, because not a lot of people own Zune, including myself, but Zune was a really cool product, and Zune Music Pass was a really cool service. But the reason why it failed wasn't because it was a shitty product. It was because Microsoft wasn't cool. That brand wasn't cool. People thought cool was iPod. You either had a lot of money, so you bought an iPod, or you had not a lot of money, so you bought something cheap and easy like a no-name MP3 player. But you didn't spend iPod money on a Zune, because Zune was lame, and Microsoft is lame, and Apple and iPod were cool. That's always been Microsoft's biggest problem traditionally. So why would they drop that kind of money? Why would they drop that kind of like $10 billion kind of money? Like fucking more than Bethesda kind of money. Because you can't always guarantee the audience. If you're Microsoft, you can guarantee the tech, because you got that money, you got that talent. And tech people will fall all over themselves and kill one another for the opportunity to work for Microsoft. But that doesn't mean we, the audience, are just going to gravitate towards every cool product Microsoft makes because we think they're cool, because that's just not historically how it works. So disagree with you. I think the point of buying Discord is to buy that community, not to buy that technology. But I don't fucking know. I'm kind of tiny-brained right now. Although I listen to this show, so I guess I have a big brain. I'm not Kotaku. Kotaku has a tiny brain because they're dumb bitches. Mojo writes in and says, for your intro, sup X-boners, now that's just classy. And for your outro, Power Your Dreams, now that's just classy as well. 10 out of 10 full approval. Now for ads, you should do fake ads, maybe just to step outside the box and show your range. Also, I felt depressed for being a gold member. Thanks, bro. So went ultimate, and now I'm back to full confidence mode. Peace, Mojo. I'm glad you got your confidence back. That's what I always say. If you lose your confidence, if you go through a moment of self-doubt, there's always something you can buy to fix your problem. I don't know, I feel like that's always been a solution for me, is to like, oh man, I feel like I have no friends, or I feel kind of lonely, or I feel like I'm kind of unaccomplished in my life. Well, good thing I got this wallet. that contains the answers to all my problems. So good for you, Mojo. I'm glad you found the solution to the problem. Now, I will say a couple caveats here. Sup X-boners, for some reason, it's arbitrary, really. I only ever say that on like bonus episodes or short episodes. Like if it's like a episode 92.5, but wait, there's more, like we had a couple weeks ago, I'll say, what's up, X-boners? But if it's like a traditional episode 95 like this week, I'm not going to call you X-boners. I'm just not. I don't know why. I've just arbitrarily drawn that line. Every time I've done a bonus episode or a supplemental episode of any sort or a little update kind of pushed to your podcast feed, I've always referred to you as the X-boners. But I don't say that to you on a regular basis because it's a special thing to be called an X-boner, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want the sting. Even now, I've just said it too many times. Let's savor it, okay? Lastly, if you say I should do fake ad reads just to show my range, just, to make the show fun, I agree with you. I think that's a fun idea. I don't get paid off of fake ads, so bad idea, but it's a fun idea, and I agree with you. I've actually, Mojo, what you're revealing to yourself is you're not an OG listener, because I actually have done fake ad reads on the show before, but that's okay, Mojo. You didn't know. You were probably listening to really rudimentary, you were probably listening to stupid Kotaku podcast back in those days, but it's okay. Clearly your brain hasn't swollen and enlarged to a substantial point where your doctor's probably deeply concerned about the size of your head because you're listening to Xbox On, right? And you got to have a big brain to listen to this show. Joe Murphy comes in with the next comment and says, love your show. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us every week. Well, Joe, I should be the one thanking you because honestly, this show, I can promise you at this point, we're almost at 2 years of Xbox On. I can confidently promise you, if people were not writing into this show and engaging with the show and leaving comments and giving feedback, I would not be doing this show. I would definitely have called it quits by this point. So thank you for writing in and thank all of you guys for writing in. I don't mean that as like a throwing your compliment back in your face because I can't take the compliment. Like I do appreciate that compliment or that I do appreciate your comment, but more importantly, thank you guys for your comments because I swear I'm very confident I would have given up on the show by now if people weren't engaging. My brother writes in, Josiah, he says Taco Bell, Mountain Dew, Disney, Halo, all brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. That has a nice ring to it. I think we gotta get that advertiser money. Dead Captain James gives us a little update on his COVID experience. Thank you for updating us. No taste and smell, but I'm good to go. Got my energy back and went back to teaching the other day. Thank God spring break is next week because Monster Hunter Rise came out today, and I will be grinding the hell out of that game. Well, Dead Captain James, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling well and you're back at it. And I hope you have a really nice, fun spring break because God knows you've earned it after suffering through COVID. And, I hope you enjoy Monster Hunter Rise. It looks like a pretty decent game. It just came out to Switch. Looks like it's selling extraordinarily well. So Good on Capcom, good for you, good for everyone enjoying Monster Hunter Rise. But I don't want to get distracted by the most important thing here, and it's your leadoff. You said, no taste and smell, but I'm good to go. The fuck do you mean you're good to go? You can't taste and smell. So, like, what? Again, clock's ticking, Dead Captain James. The quesalupa isn't going to be on the menu forever. You know that. So, I mean, I know there's nothing you can really do at this point, but, I don't know. There's got to be some, ancient Xbox fanboy secret, to maybe some tea with honey in it or something to help bring the senses back. I'm sorry, man. I really, really hope you haven't even expressed any interest in having the quesalupa, and here I am for the second week in a row, really, really sending my best wishes to you for not being able to taste or smell it. Flips Mad Max comes back in and says the double XL grilled stuffed burrito is the best item on Taco Bell's menu. Fight me on it. Flips, I totally forgot this item existed. I don't think it's been on the menu, at least here in the Southeast. It hasn't been on the menu in years, but I know there are at least 2 times where they did have it on the menu. And yeah, you're actually right. I kind of forgot about this item, but that was a pretty damn good item. I wouldn't say it was the best Taco Bell item of all time. I think they've definitely done better than that. I'd say the quesalupa is even better than that. But it is a damn good menu item, and I do appreciate you bringing that one up as well. I'll be sure to include that in the history books as I continue to lobby and fight the good fight. Mr. Miggy jumps in here and says, I actually found that video of yours back because it was your most viewed video. Not making fun of it, lol. Also, I completely understand not being able to be creative with living with your parents. It's why I haven't really made anything creative at home. As for the movie theater, I'm fine with anyone ordering whatever, even if it's nachos, but I prefer sneaking things in. like one time when I wore cargo pants and carried all of my friends' snacks and even a drink. Mr. Miggy, you say a couple things I could comment on, but there's only one thing I want to bring up here. What the fuck do these cargo pants look like that you've got presumably a family-sized shareables pack of Reese's cups in one pocket? You got the Jingle Bells, because it's Christmas time maybe, the Jingle Bell Nestle Crunch bars in one pocket. You got a fucking 48-ounce Super Slurpee or some shit like that from 7-Eleven sticking out of one pocket. You've got, maybe like a stick of five gum, five chewing... What is it called? Five gum? Yeah, the chewing gum, five? What it's like to chew five gum. Anyway, you got that in your pockets. You got possibly even like half a leftover Whopper from Burger King in a pocket, or like I want to know what the fuck these cargo pants look like that you got all this shit in there. You got like a fucking large popcorn that you brought in there. Like, help me to understand what this looks like, Mr. Miggy. And then our final comment for the week comes from Mr. OG Man, who says, Jesse, I can totally relate to having old cringe videos that rack up hella views. I have an old account called AwesomeMan32795, didn't even spell awesome correctly. Back when I was in middle school, or maybe 5th grade, I made top 10 lists of games knowing damn well I had never played most of them and was just copying other lists I found on YouTube, lol. My current highest viewed video is a top 10 GBA games of all time that sits at about 118k views. I also had a Guitar Hero account back when that was cool. Never forget where you came from, man. You're killing it. Also, I always listen to you on Spotify, and that's how I found the show last year. I just come to YouTube to comment. Well, thank you, OG Man, for that anecdote and for those kind words. I really do appreciate that, because not only is it entirely relatable just for like, the kinds of ways you think about using YouTube when you're young and you want to put shit out there on YouTube, but I also really love this because it just, for some reason, like I have like such fond memories of like being 12 and like coming home from school, from like middle school, and jumping on the one computer in the house, the family computer that we all had to share because we didn't have laptops or anything like that. And just being like, okay, this is like my 40 minutes on the computer before my sister gets home from high school and kicks me off or something like that. Like, I gotta make it fucking count. And then you go on YouTube and you're just like, shit, I've already watched every video there is on YouTube on Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Like, what the hell am I gonna do now? And then you just end up finding like the most obscure, like not big YouTuber, like 50 view count maybe. Sometimes you find videos it's like 7 views, because this is back in the day where like you could search a topic on YouTube and find videos with almost no views, just because I guess the algorithm was different, or there was just less content back in the day. But I just remember seeing this kind of like Microsoft Windows XP Movie Maker like slideshow videos with like fucking Papa Roach in the background doing like top 10 GBA lists with like Naruto pictures in between, pics for some reason. It's just this everything about this anecdote is really taking me back to those early days of YouTube, and I'm really feeling it. The off-screen camera footage of like someone getting like 90% on fucking John, what is that? John the Fisherman or whatever. Like, I don't fucking know, man. It's just It brings me back to like a warm and fuzzy place in my memory, and I love this. Shout out to Awesome Man, spelled wrong, Awesome Man 32795. Rest in peace. Thank you for your great YouTube content from way back when. Now that's gonna do it for all this week's comments, shout outs, and whatnot. Remember, guys, for next week, you got something to say. I told you where to go and say it. Don't be shy. Reply. Next, let's jump into what I've been playing. But before I can tell you all about that, I've got to tell you about what I've been eating. Guys, 2 things I want to talk about here. One is what I've been eating, and one is related to eating, but I haven't been eating it. Start with what I've been eating, okay? Nice and simple, guys. Saturday night, I find myself available on a Saturday night. Let's just say available, right? My girlfriend's doing some homework. She's catching up on some of her homework. She's trying to be a good Samaritan, do the right thing for herself and for her future. And I'm there like, I don't do jack shit, actually. And I'm not feeling like playing a video game, okay? I don't want to reorganize my Hot Wheels, okay? I got my skinny jeans on already. What the hell am I supposed to do? Just take them off and lay in bed? No, I'm going out tonight. So a friend of mine is like, hey, I'm at Disney Springs right now, which is like this place at Disney World. It's just like basically like an outlet mall. It's just like restaurants and shops. Anyway, I'm at Disney Springs right now. Come hang out. I'm with my girlfriend. Come meet up with us. Let's go out. Okay. I said, you know what? Middle of a pandemic, fuck it. I'm tired of it. I don't give a shit. I'm a Floridian. This is what we do. We kill people. And so I go out to the Disney Springs. We meet up. We booing up. It's club night. You know, I got my nicest Hot Wheels shirt on. I got 3 sprays of that American Eagle cologne I got on. And I'm feeling good. You know, I got my favorite mask on. My hair looks all messy because I took a nap when it was wet. Whatever. Here we are at the Disney Springs, and we come across my favorite restaurant. You know what I'm saying. Rainforest Cafe, guys. It's a giant volcano. You get to go inside there. There's a rainforest on the inside. There's animatronic gorillas beating on their chests and yelling, and there's fake rainstorms every 20 minutes. What else could you ask for? So we posting up at the Rainforest Cafe. It's later in the night, so the restaurant's clearing out, thank God. And we grab a spot at the bar. And I gotta say, shout out to the Rainforest Cafe. They're really socially distancing. They're leaving like way more than enough space between tables and things like that. So we have like, it's a large ass bar, you know, it's a big bar in a tacky tourist restaurant in the middle of Disney World. So you expect it to be a large bar, and you know, it's just like us and one other party, and we're on like complete opposite ends. So I'm loving it. The Rainforest Cafe already taken care of my primal needs by distancing me from other humans who I'm inclined to fight with if they turn out to be Kotaku readers. So I'm already in a good mood. I got my cologne on. I got my Hot Wheels shirt on. We're at the Rainforest Cafe doing real adult shit, about to order a potentially minorly alcoholic beverage if they can muster the strength to pour at least half a shot in this $17 fucking pina colada. But we sit down. We're at the Rainforest Cafe. Guys, I got the Rainforest sampler, we got the chimichangas, we got the cheese sticks, we got the spinach dip, we got the chicken tenders, everything in one massive plate. And I just gotta say, for 20 minutes, you know, whatever it was, and I'm sitting there eating this food, everything in the world felt like it was gonna be okay. Like all of a sudden, I just felt like there was no hatred, there was no divisiveness, there was no opposing ends of any spectrum, you know? It was all just good. We were all just one. We were all devolved back into or maybe even evolved, I might say, into our primal state back in the rainforest. We were, you know, monkeys. We were chimpanzees and gorillas and whatnot. You know, we come from monkeys. That's who we are as human beings. We're all gorillas in the rainforest trying to survive the storms, if you will. And I love that Rainforest Cafe serves as that metaphor for life, is we're all just these primal, exposed, just very fragile, and these creatures that are basically just riding out storms. And that's what Rainforest Cafe is. Every 20 minutes, they do the rainstorm, the animals freak out, the lights flash, the sounds go off. And it's a reminder that life is full of storms, and we shouldn't spend our lives waiting for the next storm. We should spend our lives enjoying the moments in between. And that's what I had at the Rainforest Cafe. I gotta tell you all about it. The food was amazing. I don't give a shit. You know, oh, you're eating chicken tenders at the Rainforest Cafe. You're a child. No, man. I'm a goddamn adult. Because I had the balls to get out to the Rainforest Cafe and to take in the message that they're trying to convey to their patrons. And not only that, but my friend goes ahead and orders the dessert. You know, they got that dessert. It looks like a volcano. It's got 4 brownies on each side and a bunch of ice cream in the middle of the volcano with caramel and whipped cream and chocolate sauce pouring all over it, and a little streamer that used to be a sparkler, but because lawsuits exist, it's now a little pom-pom streamer. And guys, it's a fucking Rainforest Cafe explosion of flavors, dessert flavors, I might add. And it's just the perfect way to top off the perfect evening. I got to give a shout out to my favorite restaurant. After all, I am a Landry Select Club member, the Rainforest Cafe. If you haven't been to a Rainforest Cafe, and I know they're international, what's your fucking excuse? Get to a Rainforest Cafe. I believe it was Phil Spencer who once said, there are only 2 things when I think about gaming. We think about our platform and where the gamers are and how many people out there want to play games, in the way access is limited by having our games exclusively on consoles, which is why we're proud at Xbox to be bringing our games to the places where people want to play the most. He said something to the effect of, you know, when we give players more options, whether that be through Game Pass or xCloud or console or PC or mobile devices or the Xbox accessibility controller, he's like, I think about how we're able to, you know, give more players more ways to play the games and to control and to have control of the games they want to play. And I think that was all a preamble, because he followed that up with saying, "We're proud to announce Xbox Game Pass is coming to Rainforest Cafe location." So it is pretty much the official dining experience of Xbox. That's all I'm going to say. Now, the other thing I want to mention about food, guys, is earlier this week, I was watching a video on YouTube. Sometimes when I'm on my breaks at work, I'll just watch like really mind-numbing, like mushy YouTube stuff, because, you know, work is like getting to me and I just need to like unwind for a second. So it's like fish looking out a fucking fishbowl at like some dumb kid tapping on the glass. That's how I feel like when I'm watching YouTube on my breaks at work. So I come across this video uploaded by Mashed, and that's how you know it's bullshit. And it was a video ranking all the big chain burger restaurants in the United States, basically from worst to best. And of course, you know, Mashed, journalists, all that shit, very California, so they have to talk about all the restaurant chains that are pretty much exclusively available in California, as if that's indicative of what the rest of the country gets to experience. But that should be expected. You know, lots of pats on the back to the In-N-Outs and the Carl's Jr.'s and whatnot. But these motherfuckers, that's not even the part that bothers me. These motherfuckers have the audacity to rank the absolute worst burger available at a chain restaurant in the United States of America. The very worst option, the one they put at the very bottom of the list, they selected Sonic Drive-Thru as the worst fast food burger. Guys, I'm not here to tell you Sonic has the best burger of all time. It's not. But it is a damn serviceable burger. It is fine. With a period at the end. It is fine. And these motherfuckers are saying it's the worst burger? Hello? Are you fucking crazy, man? Have you ever had Checkers? Like, what the fuck? Oh! But yeah, the Checkers Rallies, way worse burger. Burger King, way worse burger, because their quality is so inconsistent. Yet these motherfuckers at MASH go ahead and put Sonic at the bottom of the list. Like, what the fuck? Okay, I know your blood's boiling. Calm down, because I'm about to tell you something even worse. What do they put at the top spot? What do they put at number one? And by number one, I mean they're putting this above Five Guys. They're putting this above Shake Shack. They're putting this above McDonald's. What did they put at number one? They put fucking Culver's, which is like overpriced steak and shake that tastes bland as shit. They put Culver's at the top. Guys, I'm still heated. I watched this video 4 days ago, and I still can't stop talking about it. I brought it up twice at work already, and I've got my entire office heated about this. You got to understand me. This is a real problem I have, and I've thought about writing my congressman, but lucky enough for me, I'm lobbying right now, so I might be able to get an excerpt or something in the textbooks about this one. Refer to Figure 2.3, and I have a whole thing about burger ranking. But this is really driving me nuts. And all along the way, they have a bunch of stupid ass hot takes. They put Wendy's way above McDonald's. They put Burger King above McDonald's, and these motherfuckers be crazy, guys. They just. Wow, Mashed, fuck you. Fuck your burger ranking. There is no such thing as subjectivity. There is just my opinion, and that is all. But god damn, I got really heated watching them. For once, I understood what it was like to be a Star Wars fan watching these guys butcher a cheeseburger ranking list. But guys, don't believe me? Look it up. You have access to YouTube. Look it up. Mashed ranking burger, whatever. It was posted 9 or 11 months ago or something like that, roughly about a year ago. And that wasn't a 9/11 joke. It was literally 9 or 11 months ago. But watch it for yourself. Absolutely. You will be putting your fist through a wall after you see this shit. It's awful. Now, guys, that's it for what I've been eating. Let's leave it there. Got to bring up to you what I've been playing, because I have a confession to make. This week, in my free time, I've been playing a little bit of Master Chief Collection, some Halo 2, Halo 3 multiplayer. Sometimes, laying in bed a little bit over the weekend. I've been playing some Mario Galaxy on my Switch. Love Mario Galaxy, still my favorite game of all time. Honestly, between Halo 3 and Mario Galaxy, I'm playing my two favorite games of all time this week, really. But yeah, it's nice. I'm trying to give my Switch a little more love, I'm like, Mario Galaxy is such a good game. Kind of at the end of that again. But fuck the Switch. It has so many good games on it, even though they're mostly ports, but the Switch isn't good to hold. It just feels so cheap and shitty. The best way to play the Nintendo Switch is to use the Pro Controller, because the Pro Controller actually feels pretty good on Switch, but everything else feels like shit on the Switch. But you play a game like Mario Galaxy, really your only option is to have the two Joy-Cons separate, because you got to simulate that Wii Remote nunchuck feeling. So it's kind of a frustrating situation, but nonetheless, Mario Galaxy, favorite game of all time, holds up like a bell, whatever it is, the saying they say. But I've been playing that. Now, I haven't been playing a lot of games lately. You may have noticed. And I gotta tell you, that might not be changing anytime soon. This week, I officially embarked on a online class for CompTIA A plus certification. Guys, I'm trying to get my CompTIA A plus certification so I can get a job in IT. I don't know. My brother started taking the class and he's like, you should take this class. And last time he told me to do something, he told me to download an app that tracked my calories and I lost 15 pounds. So fuck it, I'm going to do this as well. Guys, I want to learn new skills. I want to learn new things. I want to be eligible for different career paths. So I'm going to better myself. I'm going to learn new things. And so I started my IT online course this week. And I got to be honest, I'm having a lot of fun with it, actually. I'm really enjoying the content so far. It's a lot of information. I'll probably be kind of busy with that. So I'm going to try to stay dedicated to that, try to see this through the end, and then take the test and get this certification. But I only bring this up to let you know it has to come at the sacrifice of something. And because I can't really sacrifice my theme park time on the weekends, it's going to sacrifice, I'm going to have to sacrifice some of my video game time. So just to let you know, at least for the foreseeable future, I'm still going to always have time and make time for video games. They're my greatest love right next to theme parks. And I can't not play Halo. Like, I'm not a fucking, I'm not some goddamn snake oil salesman or whatever. I gotta play the Halo 3. Gotta play, just gotta do it, gotta do it. But I am gonna be, probably just playing a little bit more like multiplayer, unplug your brain, kind of jump in, jump out games, and spend a little less time with like the big single player story based stuff, because right now I simply need to just free myself up more and more for this class. So I just want to let you know that. Wish me luck. I hope I don't give up. Now that's it for what I've been playing, what I've been eating, and all that. Guys, I think it's time we should get into the news. What do you say? Well, I don't give a shit what you say, because this isn't a live audience thing. You can't hear me yet. So there's like a 12-hour delay between me recording this and you being able to listen to it. So fuck you, we're jumping into the news. Gamers, Future Jesse here. Just want to let you know we actually missed a story that broke somewhere around in between when I finished writing the show notes and when I recorded. So I just wanted to interject real quick, throw this one in here. I'm not really sure where this would normally fit in the normal run of show, but I did just want to add this in real quick, and then we'll go back to the rest of the podcast that's actually already been recorded. So spoiler alert before I read this, since this is Future Jesse talking and I have already recorded the rest of this show, and this is just a little part I'm dropping in the middle here, I would like to give you a couple of spoilers, from the future. So later on the show, I'll go on to talk about the news, including some Call of Duty and Halo related news. But here in the future, we know that actually Activision has purchased Microsoft, which makes no sense, but they did it anyway. And now Halo is in every Call of Duty. He's actually one of the big Black Ops characters. So every Halo game is now canon in the Black Ops universe. Just want to let you know that. But real talk, guys, we did miss a story, and I did want to interject it. We'll get more into the other information later. But the story we missed this week in the news that I have to drop in here real quick for this edit is that Microsoft is adding backwards compatibility to old like OG and 360 Xbox games now via Xbox Cloud Gaming. So this is from Xbox Wire. It reads, today we're embarking on a new journey for backwards compatibility, taking it to the cloud. Game Pass Ultimate members can now tap into a collection of favorite games from the past in a whole new way, right on mobile devices, turning them into retro handheld game systems. 16 original OG Xbox and 360 games are now on Android phones and tablets, with more games coming soon. We've listened to feedback going all the way back to the earliest cloud gaming preview, and making games from previous generations available on mobile devices has been one of our most requested features by the community. So now you can play a range of games on mobile, from the original titles like Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind to Xbox 360 hits like Banjo-Kazooie, Fable 2, and Fallout New Vegas. We're also enabling touch controls for Jetpack Refueled, Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise, allowing you to tend to your garden with ease. With games connecting through Xbox Network, they said Xbox Network, you'll be able to bring past saves with you and play along with gamers from around the world. Existing Game Pass Ultimate members can get into this today. If you're not a member but you're interested in shipping away at your back catalog and finally getting to the games you've been meaning to play since 2010, sign up now. Blah, 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 blah. That's it. Here's a list of games real quick. This is the full list of games supported now, with more coming on the way. You got Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, which were Xbox arcade games, of course, originally on N64. Double Dragon Neon, Fable 2, Fallout New Vegas, Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, Gears of War Judgment, Jetpack Refueled with touch controls enabled, Cameo, Perfect Dark Zero, hey, Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, Viva Pinata with touch controls, and Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise with touch controls as well. So that is the whole story there. Guys, this is a nice one. This is just, cloud gaming obviously becoming more and more robust. This is something I guess we kind of assumed would eventually make its way, but honestly, this isn't something I had thought about all that much lately, or all that much at all with cloud gaming, but this is kind of a no-brainer in a way, and this is just another one of those Microsoft moves. It's like, they're literally figuring out every computation of like, but what if I want to do this on this platform with this stipulation in this way? And they're finding all of the little ifs, ands, and buts and connecting it all together. So there's no excuse for why you don't have access to everything, regardless of where you play and how you play. So I guess they're really staying true to their new marketing material, but this is really exciting stuff because not only just like more ways to make old games accessible, which is so funny, hear Microsoft say in the same week that Sony announced that they're shutting down the PS3, PSP, and PS Vita stores so you can't buy shit anymore. So in the same week, Sony's basically saying, fuck you, you can play our new games and nothing else. Microsoft's like, hey, we're finding the most obscure ways so that you can still play Viva Pinata, even though you probably don't give a shit about playing Viva Pinata. And I'd much rather have that alternative where you can just play all the old games in any way, shape, or form, because preserving game history is really important to me, and clearly it's really important to Xbox, and clearly it's a big part of their winning marketing strategy here. So this is really exciting stuff, and we'll see this list continue to grow. But the thing that really gets me the most on this is the enabling of touch controls. It's like one thing when they're like, hey, Minecraft Dungeons, a new game that people play a lot. It's Minecraft, so it's a really well-known and loved IP. We're adding touch controls so that the game works well on mobile. It's like, okay, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? Because Minecraft Dungeons is a new game. It's Minecraft, and you could see a game like Minecraft Dungeons getting an iPhone app or an Android app. So why not? If the way you have to play it on mobile is through Game Pass or through cloud gaming rather, then like this makes sense, right? So with a game like Minecraft Dungeons, you think, okay, well, that's kind of somewhat of a no-brainer, but still impressive that they're doing it nonetheless. But then you start seeing more obscure, like old titles, like we're making Rare's Viva Pinata, which was like an OG Xbox 3, which is like an old, earlier Xbox 360 game, suddenly with touch support. Like that is some real dedication to like just making this shit accessible and making it work. So I don't know, like big kudos and props to Xbox on that one. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. Just wanted to slip that in there so the news didn't go unreported for this week. But now we will go back to the regular podcast that I already finished recording. The previous Jesse, we're going to transition back to old school Jesse, the Jesse that doesn't know the future, who doesn't know in the future that all Tesla cars will actually turn against humanity and enslave human beings, but it will be worth it because they will imprison us in cells where we have access to nothing but Mountain Dew Baja Blast, Taco Bell's extinct menu items, and endless internet bandwidth to play the latest Call of Duty Cross Halo game that Activision has so kindly bestowed upon our future selves. So with that said, back to the regular show. Thank you for allowing this interjection. X-Boners, Jesse out. All right, like I said, not a terribly big news week, but we got some stuff to talk about. So first of all, last Thursday, the Idea at Xbox Indie Showcase happened. The week before that, I said, rumors of this happening, probably not happening, and then it happened. And I said I wasn't going to delay last week's episode to accommodate it because I didn't think it was going to be a huge event or anything like that, and I was right, it's not. Although, that wasn't like a big risk putting that out there. I mean, I think that was pretty obvious that it wasn't going to be a huge deal. But nonetheless, we did get some information. We got a lot of trailers, a lot of additional looks at some games, some news about things that will be coming to Game Pass and whatnot. So Windows Central broke down some of the more important announcements, and I just want to pull some things from that and go over some of the announcements made during the Indie Showcase. It was kind of a not so sexy presentation, kind of spread out over a lot of streaming and a lot of like interviews and dialogue and stuff like that. It wasn't like a collection of sizzle reels and that was it. So just to kind of parse through what happened and get to the meaty stuff. First of all, they announced Rust is coming to consoles. It's coming to Xbox Series X, S, and 1 on May 21st. And the console edition now has a trailer available on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, they showed that out. They showed that off. They revealed pre-orders for deluxe and ultimate editions of the game, which includes 3-day early access to the upcoming beta. And yeah, the game's available for pre-order now. Now, Rust is a game that people have been hoping will come to console for a very long time. So that is kind of a big deal. I'm not a PC gamer, so I've never really been too tapped into the Rust community, but I know that's a big deal for a lot of people. So that was like the first enlarged announcement. Next, Song of Iron got a new trailer showing off this Viking 2D kind of game that reminds me, it's like God of War in 2D kind of, but it's coming to Series X and S, One, and PC later in 2021. So there's a new trailer for that was shown. They also showed Lost Oasis, which is coming out actually now. It's available right now. It was released at the time they showed the trailer, so that's available on all Xbox platforms, which is like a ship-based exploring dungeon game. I don't know. I didn't really watch too much of this one because it just didn't seem like my thing, but I'm sure I have seen people tweeting a little bit talking about it on the internet, so it might be something worth checking out, Lost Oasis. Now, Death's Door was also shown. It's coming out this summer for Xbox consoles and PC. This is a Devolver Digital published game, but it's very like Zelda inspired. It's a top-down action-adventure game. This game looks pretty cool, actually. I'm actually pretty interested in trying this out. And they did an interview with the game's developer, blah, 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 and showed more of it. But yeah, all you need to know is there's a cool trailer for it. It's kind of like an old-school Zelda game. You can see it on YouTube. Comes out summer 2021, and I think I'm going to give that one a try. Now, we got an update on Second Extinction, which is that first-person Turok Left 4 Dead-looking dinosaur-killing game, which I think has been in early access now for a little bit, but they announced that it's coming April 28th. It's optimized for Series X and S, available on Xbox One and PC. And they showed another gameplay trailer for it and showed, basically the official thing will be coming to Game Pass, launching into Game Pass on April 28th, but it's still going to be technically in game preview, so that's a little annoying. But yeah, I'm actually, I guess it hasn't been out. It's coming to game preview through Game Pass on the 28th of April. So just a few more weeks. I'm definitely going to check this one out. I personally thought this game looked really cool, although it seems like a lot of people just were kind of meh about it, but it looks like a pretty first-person shooter game where you fight dinosaurs. So I don't know. To me, that sounds awesome. Then they finally showed some Stalker 2 stuff, but the disappointing part is they didn't show a new trailer or anything. It was just like a dev diary. So they're still saying the game's going to come out this year for Xbox Series X and S and PC, and it's going to be a Game Pass and cloud gaming game. But I'll be honest with you guys, I think this is the game just because of how quiet they've been on it. I think this is going to be one of those games that continuously gets delayed a bunch of times, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this slip into 2022, to be honest, but I hope it's a 2021 game. It looks great. I really want to play this game. But yeah, Stalker 2, they showed some more of that, just not a lot of gameplay. It was more a dev diary. And then they showed a bunch of other stuff, including 20 games that were shown at the show, which are going to be coming to Game Pass. And let me just read off a couple of notable ones they showed. The most notable thing they showed that I'm really looking forward to that I didn't bring up is The Ascent. We got a new trailer for that. Unfortunately, we did not get an announcement or a release date announcement, so it's still just a 2021 release. But The Ascent is that third-person twin-stick shooter with like cyberpunk-looking RPG type game that I think just looks fucking awesome, coming exclusively to Xbox consoles and PC. So I'm really looking forward to that. They showed a new trailer, but they showed a bunch of stuff, and a lot of stuff coming to Game Pass. Including, I'll name a couple of them. They got Art of Rally, Astria Ascending, Among Us, Backbone, Boyfriend Dungeon, Craftopia, Dead Static Drive, Edge of Eternity, Hello Neighbor 2, Library of Arena, Little Witch in the Woods, Moonglow Bay, Narita Boy, Nobody Saves the World, Omno, Recompile, Stable, Second Extinction, She Dreams Elsewhere, Stalker 2, The Ascent, Undungeon, Way to the Woods, and The Wild at Heart. I guess that's all the games coming to Game Pass, but whatever. I just read them all. So tons of good stuff. Most of it coming in 2021, or technically all of it is penned for 2021, but I'm certain that Stalker 2 and maybe some others will get delayed, slip into the 2022 timeframe, but nonetheless, pretty decent showing in terms of just a large quantity of small games for people to look forward to. I know I'm pretty excited for a handful of those games. So that was the showcase of the ID at Xbox that they did last week. You can go and watch the trailers. It's all on the Xbox YouTube page. They have trailers for everything. So there's lots of stuff to see there. Find out which games you're looking forward to. Let me know which games you're looking forward to. If there's one that's like, Jesse, you dumb idiot, how could you have looked over poodle hunting? It's so good. Who doesn't want to hunt a poodle? You can do it on Game Pass now. And it's optimized for the Series X. But anyway, So that's our first story there. Not too much to really sink your teeth into, just a lot of little updates on some interesting games. Our first full-blown article, like a typical standard Xbox On news story, coming from Windows Central here, we got a little update on Call of Duty 2021. So apparently, according to some leaks and some rumors, Activision is returning to World War II again for 2021's Call of Duty game. Now, we know it hasn't been that long since Call of Duty took place in that time period, with Call of Duty World War II being released in 2017, but this time around we don't have a ton of details about how this foray into World War II will differ. There have been reports that this Call of Duty will explore an alternate timeline where World War II did not end in 1945 and instead continue into the 1950s. But Eurogamer disputes this leak and reports that this year's Call of Duty will have a traditional World War II setting. So some conflicting reports, but both nonetheless talking about World War II action. Now, Eurogamer also reports that the subtitle for the game may be Vanguard, but the full title hasn't been solidified yet. All we know now for certain is that Activision is looking to release this Call of Duty in late 2021 as per usual. But Sledgehammer Games, the developer that handled the last World War II Call of Duty game, is reported to be the lead studio working on this year's COD. While Call of Duty continues to rely on yearly releases, Call of Duty Warzone, the free-to-play Battle Royale game, of course, has undoubtedly shifted Activision's focus for Call of Duty in the last few years. It's unclear how or even if the next Call of Duty will integrate into Warzone like Black Ops Cold War did, but the chances are still high that it will in some way. I mean, it's got it. That's what the article says. I think it's got it, right? Because now at this point, we're at the point now where the Call of Duty kind of platform is basically like every November you have a new release come out that boosts sales of games sold. You get people hooked on a new multiplayer, a new campaign, blah 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 blah. But it's a way to also reinvigorate and pump more content into the Call of Duty Warzone free-to-play multiplayer or Battle Royale game, which is like, I guess, supposed to be the bread and butter now, even though both are incredibly lucrative for Activision. So, the idea being that if you want something that connects the Call of Duty universe, it's like this ever-evolving, Call of Duty service that just keeps going. If you're one of those people that's like, I hate how Call of Duty games, it's like 1 year and the game's in the spotlight and then they drop that game and go on to the next one. Well, Warzone's your thing. Warzone's the thing where it's like Call of Duty continues to evolve, it continues to improve and get better, and we don't leave it in the dust. We just give it new content as new games come out. And I guess that's kind of the thinking, although I hate that because Warzone's not cool at all. But anyway, more important to the story, the actual game itself. So this is interesting because you might remember last year when before Black Ops Cold War was officially announced, we knew the rumor was leading up to the game's announcement that it was Sledgehammer's turn to make a Call of Duty game. They were in some development nightmare shit, and then last minute Activision was kind of like, okay, and by last minute I mean probably the final year of development, Activision was like, okay, Treyarch, you're up, and Sledgehammer, you're on the back burner, you get another year to develop, and you guys got to figure this out. So basically what happened was, as you may know, Call of Duty's on the 3-year development cycle. It's supposed to be, Infinity Ward puts out a Call of Duty, then Treyarch puts out a Call of Duty, then Sledgehammer, then repeat. That way each of the 3 developers gets 3 years to develop their respective Call of Duty entry. And so, if you follow the pattern, 2020 should have been Sledgehammer because they put out a game in 2017, which was World War II. 2018 saw Black Ops 4 from Treyarch. 2019 saw Modern Warfare 2019 from Infinity Ward. And then 2020 should have been Sledgehammer's turn to go again. But because of, as the reporting suggests, there are some development issues. Basically, Activision said, okay, Treyarch, we know you're supposed to be the 2021 guy. Too late, you're up. And between them and Raven and all the support studios, they kind of pulled out Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War last minute, with Raven doing the campaign based on, stuff they were already working on, and Treyarch focusing more on the multiplayer and zombies kind of suite, and then, all the support studios that help make Call of Duty as they always do. So that was kind of the story as we knew it, based on reporting. There was never any real confirmation, but it was pretty widely accepted that was the story. And the story even continued to unfold by saying that Sledgehammer was working on another World War II related Call of Duty game. So this does fall in line with that information that, had this game gone on perfectly and flawlessly development-wise, this new Call of Duty World War II game possibly would have released last year in 2020, and Black Ops Cold War would have been a 2021 game. So these two games could have technically flipped had everything gone according to plan. So it's not entirely surprising in that regard alone that the next Call of Duty game is from Sledgehammer and it's a World War II game. So that doesn't surprise me in that context. What does surprise me, though, is that Sledgehammer, they're the newer of the Call of Duty developers. The OG COD developer is Infinity Ward. Then Treyarch kind of joined in around the port of Call of Duty 2, and they made Call of Duty 3. That was their first Call of Duty they made all on their own. So they're pretty OG. They've been around since the early days. But Sledgehammer is the new guy on the block when it comes to Call of Duty. Their first entry in the Call of Duty franchise was 2014's Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So the fact that So keep in mind, Advanced Warfare is highly regarded as, or is often regarded as one of the worst Call of Duties. And then their second attempt was Call of Duty World War II, which came out in 2017. Also considered widely to be one of the worst Call of Duties. In fact, Sledgehammer's time with Call of Duty so far has kind of bookended what are widely considered to be the bad years of Call of Duty. Because people mostly consider, I feel like generally the temperature on Call of Duty is the franchise starts to lose its luster after Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3 as you move into Ghosts and Advanced Warfare. And then the franchise kind of stays stale and loses its luster and becomes generic and boring up until you get to Black Ops 4 / Modern Warfare 2019. So it's interesting because, sandwiched in the middle there with all the Black Ops 3s and 4s and the Call of Duty Infinite Warfares and the Advanced Warfares and the World War 2s is the Sledgehammer games. So myself included, a lot of people thought that because of the botch kind of setup last year with Sledgehammer's game and because of the last-minute turning of having to have Black Ops Cold War be the game last year, a lot of people assumed that what this meant was Sledgehammer is being nixed as a main pillar of the Call of Duty development team. They're going to be brought back to more of a support studio, and they're going to go back to the whole Treyarch Infinity Ward switching off thing with just a lot of support studios beefing these teams up and helping them get these projects out. That was what myself and a lot of people believed to be the case, but if these reports are real, what this confirms to us is no, that's not the case at all. They're still giving Sledgehammer a shot here. Sledgehammer still has another run at making a big Call of Duty game, and hopefully, they get it right. And obviously, there's no Call of Duty game that sells bad, but Sledgehammer games are often considered critically and by fans to be the weaker Call of Duties, and I think sales-wise, they're usually not the biggest hits. I mean, now, again, every Call of Duty is a massive selling success. Don't get me wrong. The worst-selling Call of Duty game still sells infinitely better than 99% of games that will ever be released. Don't get me wrong. But that being said, relative to other Call of Duty games, generally Sledgehammer's games or entries tend to sell softer than Infinity Ward and Treyarch. So that also surprises me there. Activision being a very hungry and greedy and, company that is very much about the bottom line, which is why Call of Duty is so incredibly, saturated and annualized. It's surprising to see them continue to give this weaker studio the chance to be the third pillar of what is undoubtedly the biggest franchise in gaming, just from a money-making standpoint. So that does surprise me a little bit. And it almost makes me wonder if their attitude is well, this game was too far along in development and we had too much invested in it. Let's just delay the game to 2021. Let Sledgehammer finish this, put it out there, and if it's a big hit, if it's their best game yet, we'll keep them around. If it's the softest, most over-budget, weakest Call of Duty and people aren't crazy about it, that's it. Sledgehammer is being reduced to a support team, and we're going back to the duality of Infinity Ward and Treyarch. So I almost wonder if that's what this is going to be a story of, but it makes me, like I said, I already went through my Call of Duty phase, for the past 10 years. When Black Ops Cold War came out, I played enough of that game to satiate my Call of Duty need for a while. But so that being said, I really didn't have much of I never really had any expectation that, the 2021 Call of Duty game would be a game I'd play. But just knowing this, it has me pretty intrigued to see what this game ends up looking like, what it ends up being, and if it ends up being any good, because I personally do fall into that camp of Sledgehammer makes the weakest Call of Duty games. And this is something I learned a lot a few months ago when I was falling hard on that Black Ops binge that you guys might remember, which is that I find it to be the case that Treyarch by far makes the most fun Call of Duties. Their Call of Duty games seem very arcadey and really playing to just the mechanics of the franchise and really just making it as fun as possible. Plus, I like usually the settings and aesthetics they choose a little more. I feel like Infinity Ward is always like the most technologically advanced Call of Duty games. They push the boundaries and the mechanics and the settings and the graphics and everything to the max, and they make, the Call of Duty I think most people probably think about when they think Call of Duty. And then Sledgehammer, I feel like, makes the weakest Call of Duty. Like, the gameplay just always feels somewhat like the design, the level design, the map design, everything just always feels so like paint by numbers and safe and just kind of just trite, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I find it interesting that here's Sledgehammer, despite all their shortcomings, with another opportunity to carry the most lucrative gaming franchise on their shoulders, basically. Let's see if they can pull it off this time, because I would be really interested to see not only, one, what this game's going to end up being, but two, what this means for their future, depending on how the game performs. And of course, I say how it performs relatively. We know it's going to sell like crack and do very, very well. But what I mean is it going to be, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 successful, or is it going to be Call of Duty Ghosts successful? So that's what I mean by, its success. So yeah, that's that story. Obviously, it's all rumors and reports right now, so we're going to have to wait to learn some more official word. If it's anything like Black Ops Cold War, that game was kind of being rushed out, so I assume that's a large reason why, but that game was announced very late for Call of Duty. You might remember we didn't learn about it till like September, I think. We learned about it in like August or September. And usually the Call of Duty games are announced around April, May. So usually we'd be about 4 to 6 weeks out from the next COD announcement. But I think between the way the development cycles have gotten gummed up a little bit, plus with the success of Warzone and not wanting to like have the hype cycles kind of eat each other, I think they might be pushing the announcements later. So might not be till like August or September till we see this game. But again, we're just stuck kind of waiting for now. Our next story, guys, comes from Windows Central and says, beyond knowing that it will release in the fall of 2021, the official release date for Halo Infinite has been a mystery ever since its delay. However, actor Verlon Roberts recently revealed the specific launch window for the game before it was supposed to go public on a podcast that was posted to YouTube. Roberts stated that the game is going to launch in late November this year, which means that Halo fans can expect to get their hands on Halo Infinite in November 2021. Notably, Steve Downes, the voice of Master Chief, has also stated in a podcast that the game will release in November. Neither of these statements have been confirmed by 343 or Microsoft, but the studio may clarify the release date soon now that both voice actors have talked about it. In terms of who Robert represents in the game, he is voice acting Spartan Griffin, who's most notable to Halo fans for his inclusion in the recently released Halo Shadows of Reach novel. He may be known as the Spartan that goes along with Sarah Palmer and the other Spartan Force to link up with Master Chief in the story, which I haven't gotten to that point in the book because I'm listening to the audiobook and I stopped about halfway through. I need to get back to that, whatever. This is not a story where there's a lot to go off of, because this is what I've been saying since the moment it was delayed. The moment it was delayed is like, this is a full year's delay. This is like, the game was always supposed to come out in November, and the delay just means it's next November. I never for a second thought, oh, Halo Infinite's coming out in spring or summer or anything like that. I think it was always clear, at least to me, that Infinite was going to release in November. They want that big holiday title. They want that full year delay to really polish the fuck out of this game. They want to have something real special cooked up for the holiday season. And they also want the marketing to fall in line with the 20-year anniversary of Halo and of Combat Evolved and all that. So I think it makes total sense that it's coming out in November. And even though, yes, this hasn't officially been confirmed, to me, I see this as a confirmation, because I was already so confident without any leaks or rumors or slip-ups that the game would be releasing in November. So to me, I'm just like, yeah, there's no way this is in November. So that's why there's not much to talk about here. It's like, yes, this happened. Yes, this is the news. Yes, this is more than likely the truth. But there's nothing to speculate or divulge here because, yeah, I mean, like, by show of hands, did anyone really think Halo Infinite was coming out at any point other than this fall? If not November, at the very least, like, did anyone think there's any chance this game came out at any point other than within the September to November window, right? Like, no one. Okay, we're good. So I don't know what else to really say on that. It looks like 2 voice actors, including Master Chief himself, have slipped up and said, yeah, November. And we all speculated November, and November's the 20-year anniversary of Halo Combat Evolved. I think that's all pretty pretty concrete, set in stone. This game's not coming out in July kind of information. So whatever. That's my take on it. Not really much else to go off of there, but yeah, that's the story. It's just that simple. Now, IGN reports that CD Projekt Red have announced that they've signed contracts to acquire Canadian studio Digital Scapes. Digital Scapes Studio, based in Vancouver, has been working with CD Projekt Red for 3 years during the production of Cyberpunk 2077. The studio will become a CD Projekt Red Vancouver once the acquisition is complete, and they'll join the developers' profile of teams that includes the 3 existing ones based in Warsaw, Krakow, and Wrocław. God bless. Sorry, guys, I'm bad with the pronunciation. Quote from CD Projekt reads, "We believe in the hugely talented Digital Scapes crew and believe that they are the perfect foundation upon which to build a wider CD Projekt Red Vancouver team." Zawardi, head of production and CTO at CD Projekt Red, in a statement about the acquisition. "This is a great opportunity for Canadian developers to get involved with CD Projekt Red and their incredible IP for CD Projekt Red to tap into Canada's deep talent pool and game-making craft," added Marcin Shaddy, the head of Vancouver studio. So, goddamn, lots of people with names I can't pronounce for shit, so I'm sorry there. So, this is the thing, is I don't think many people knew, but I didn't know that this company, 1, even existed, or 2, that they were working as a support role with CD Projekt Red on Cyberpunk. That shouldn't come as a surprise. Big games like Cyberpunk usually do have support studios. Like, fucking speaking of Halo Infinite, there were a bunch of support studios helping with Halo Infinite. That's pretty common stuff. I can't help but feel like the acquisition of this team is kind of a way of them saying, like, yeah, we really need to get all hands on deck on, like, fixing Cyberpunk, getting next-gen patches out, fixing all the issues with the game, getting it running on old hardware. And so a part of me feels like this acquisition is like their way of saying, like, we need more hands on deck. We need a more concrete, full-time, fully integrated team that can help us get these massive tasks finished. Basically, with finishing the development of Cyberpunk 2077. Because let's be honest, they're not patching a game that has some bugs. They're basically finishing the development of the game while it's out. It's basically a game that launched in early access. So, I am still so tired of talking about Cyberpunk, and I don't want to continue this conversation, but the story has to be read. It is news, and I think this has a lot to do with getting more hands on board in a more official and full-time capacity kind of moment, a way to get more people to be able to work on these different projects surrounding Cyberpunk, whether it be getting these updates and patches done, working on the next gen update, and things like that. So that's my guess what's happening here, but congrats to the guys at Digital Scapes. While yes, it's not a great time to be associated with CD Projekt Red, you guys probably just made a bunch of money, so congrats to everyone involved in that regard. And then our final story of the week comes from IGN, and it is that Anthem's game director, Jonathan Warner, has left BioWare after nearly a decade at the studio. Warner announced the news on Twitter alongside a gif of the spinning top from Inception. He says, "So today is my last day at BioWare. I'm moving on to do new things. BioWare has been home to my grateful heart for nearly 10 years, and I want to wish them the best. Dragon Age, Mass Effect, and Star Wars: The Old Republic are all in good hands, and I cannot wait to play from the other side of the screen. Hashtag thank you, hashtag BioWare." Now, Warner's decision to leave arrives a bit over a month after BioWare officially announced that it would be stopping development of Anthem next, and a few months after a lot of other notable BioWare talent have left the studio. Now, this doesn't totally surprise me. Like, this was this guy's baby. This game is this guy's project, and now that's canceled. It's dead in the water. Like, I mean, yeah, you can move on to other BioWare projects if you want, but, like, your game director, this is your baby. This is your project. It's your live service game. You know, regardless of how people feel about it, it's like, this is your thing. Like, if there's an opportunity or excuse or reason to leave and move on to the next thing, an action like this would be the reason. So I get that. So the big news to me isn't so much that he's left. Oh, how scandalous. It's more like, wow, this is the billionth fucking person to leave BioWare in the past few months. Like, again, I'm saying this as of this moment, BioWare, you know, whoever makes the next Mass Effect, the next Dragon Age, the next Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game, or whatever it is they make after this, whoever makes these games is not the same people that made Anthem and Mass Effect 1 and Dragon Age 2 and all these games that we hold near and dear to ourselves, because at this point, the teams have just changed so much. This is not, you know, the team that brought you Jade Empire or KOTOR. Like, this is just the name that brought you those games with all new talent, because just so many important figureheads have left this studio. And I can't help but see this as fuck you, EA, poor management, just way too much control, taking away like literally everything we loved and we were working on, just constantly fucking things up and changing direction of the studios. And doing so has cost them so much talent. So I assume this is, I'm not trying to be that guy who hates on EA and blames EA for everything because it's popular to do, but like, I don't know how you see such a mass exodus of a studio that's dealt with so much change and so much shakeup and so much turmoil in recent years and not see this as like, yeah, this is because EA really fucked up this studio. I mean, all this stuff is just the rippling side effects of, ever being forced in the first place to make Anthem. So there's that, but I mean, these are the lasting effects is they are constantly losing people. The game failed to be what they want it to be. And this studio is just evolving into something entirely different now. And I mean, congrats to Jonathan Warner. Hopefully, whatever's next for him, he's totally happy in. I'm sorry that, basically his project was killed. So I don't totally blame him for leaving, but this is, if you're a BioWare fan right now, this isn't like bad news necessarily, and it's not great news, but it is definitely a sign that, whatever BioWare puts out next is going to be the beginning of a totally new project, a totally new team. This is not the BioWare we're used to, that's for sure. But with that said, guys, that's going to do it for all of our major news stories of the week. Now we're going to jump into the important enough news stories important enough to make the podcast, but not quite important enough to warrant their own discussions, which we have a handful. The first one is some bad news for people like myself who have incredibly large brains. I don't read Kotaku, but I was going to play this game this June until it got delayed. Yep, Turtle Rock Studios is working hard to make Back 4 Blood the best game it can be when it launches, but the team needs more time to do this. Therefore, we will release Back 4 Blood on October 12th, 2021. We thank our community for its continued support and are excited to share that there will be an open beta this summer. Back 4 Blood logo, Turtle Rock logo, Warner Bros. Logo, zombie background. Okay, this is the announcement. Very sad. Here's the thing. We always say, right? Oh, delays are a good thing. It means the game's going to be better. It's going to get the polish it needs. It's going to get the attention it needs. Yes. Okay, I'm happy about this. Also, I'm happy about this because October 12th is a great release date for what is ostensibly Left 4 Dead 3. Great release date. It's in the Halloween season. There's no better time to get like new Left 4 Dead than when you're in the middle of the Halloween season. It's the perfect weather, but not here in Florida where it's still hot in October. It's the perfect feeling in the air, time of year. All the spooky events are happening. You go into the grocery store, for some fucking reason they got ghosts on all the Hershey bars. They got pumpkins on all the Reese's for some goddamn reason. Kids are walking around with Fortnite masks on. All the theme parks have kids dressed up in makeup running around and screaming at you. It's a great time for a Back 4 Blood. It's a great time for a Left 4 Dead. Don't get me wrong. And we're still getting a beta this summer, so you still will get to play Back 4 Blood this summer. But man, this was going to be my summer jam. So I'm not actually like that disappointed about it. In fact, I'm trying to really look on the bright side. And when I do, I'm actually pretty excited about, the outlook of this being a Halloween game. Man, Back 4 Blood, it was going to be a summer game. Anyway, so that's that. Next, IGN reports that EA's announced EA Sports PGA Tour, the next-gen golf game, which is currently in development. The game will be the first created as part of a new long-term deal with the PGA Tour and will be built on EA's established Frostbite engine. EA Sports PGA Tour will allow players to build virtual careers and visit many of the famous golf courses around the world, maybe even the ones at Walt Disney World. And also featured will be some of the most famous golf players in the professional world who players will be able to test their skills against. EA promised that further details about the game will come in a few weeks, in a few months we'll get a release date, whatever. But it is important to note that the game will feature famous pro golfers, but Tiger Woods will not be one of them. Because recently 2K signed a multi-year exclusive deal with Tiger Woods. The golfer was previously, the face of EA's long-running Tiger Woods PGA Tour series, but that contract ended in 2013. When EA kind of ended that with him based on those accusations and improprieties that Professor Woods was engaging in. Then the series became associated with Rory McIlroy in 2015, and then EA Sports PGA, just kind of became the new embodiment of the franchise. So this is a new stepping stone for golf fans and for EA's golf series, and 2K will get the Tiger Woods deal, but kind of a bad time to have that deal because Tiger Woods is just in a really, really bad accident, so I don't know how that factors into all this. But yeah, that's a little update for all you golfers out there, of which there probably aren't many in the Xbox On community, but nonetheless, important gaming news. Now, next, guys, this is one I'm really excited about, even though it is small news, not important enough to make the podcast, important enough to warrant its own discussion, whatever. This comes from Xbox Wire. They say, today we're excited to introduce not one, but 2 new Xbox wireless controllers to add to your personal collection. Xbox Wireless Controller Electric Vault, which is like this neon yellow Xbox controller that looks fucking amazing. For $65, comes out April 27th in most Xbox markets worldwide and can be purchased at select retailers, including Microsoft Store. Check your local retailer, whatever. Many of you may have seen this already, but it's that like neon yellow Xbox controller with black bumpers and triggers and a black D-pad. And then like even the analog sticks are all neon. The only gripe I have with this fucking controller is the backside's all white, and I hate that. I hate that they're doing this with the Xbox Series X controllers, where they're like, oh, it's this beautiful like ruby red, but the back is white. It's this beautiful electric shock blue, but the back is white. For some stupid reason, it's like, just make the controller one color. Like, I love the black D-pad and the black triggers and bumpers. Like, that looks great with the neon yellow. In fact, it's really just stunning. But then the black back panel just fucking ruins it. I wish they would stop doing that. It's so annoying because, don't get me wrong, I'm 100% planning on buying this controller if I can get my hands on it, but it's just so annoying to me that it's going to be all like fucking boring and bland and white on the back for no reason. So that. Then there's another one they announced, which is Day Strike, which is like a red and gray camo one. That's kind of ugly in my opinion. But at least on this one, like the backside is the same color as the bumpers and the triggers, so at least this one has more coherency. Like with the Electric Vault one, they should have at least made the back panel black to match like the D-pad and the triggers, rather than white, which just contrasts so fucking obnoxiously with the neon and the black. Like they could have just done that. Like if you're not going to make the black neon, or if you're not going to make the backside neon, just make it black, and that will blend in well. That will pair well with the main color. God, I get so heated on this. Like I feel like no one ever complains about this, but I take such issue with it because it's such an otherwise beautiful controller. But anyway, the Day Strike Camo one's $70 instead of $65 and will be out May 4th instead of April 27th. So keep an eye out on those if you're looking for them. Next, Xbox Wire reports that today they introduced the Bang & Olufsen BeoPlay Portal wireless headphones for Xbox. These are some really fancy $500 headphones that are coming out for Series X and S that a lot of people were bitching about on Twitter because they're expensive. I don't know. I'm sure they're super nice, really high quality, incredible fit and quality or build or whatever. But $500 headphones, I'll just wait for those $100 Microsoft ones to come back in stock. Next up, the Microsoft Store Spring Sale is now a thing, saving you lots of money on Xbox accessories and games. On April 2nd, the spring sale rolls out with the addition of many Xbox and PC games, discounts on Game Pass Ultimate memberships, movies, apps, TV, more, including up to 75% off select digital games. So keep an eye out on that great sale, including a discount on Game Pass Ultimate. Next, GamesIndustry.biz reports that 505 Games has added a new franchise to its portfolio in the form of Cyberpunk Ninja action outing Ghost Runner. The company worked with Polish publisher All In Games on the game's initial release back in October, but now it takes full control of the IP as well as all licenses for all technology solutions used in the game. Ghost Runner's recouped its 2.5 million euro production costs on launch day and sold more than 500,000 copies by the end of 2020, with All In expecting sales to reach 1 million later in the year. Next-gen versions of the game have already been announced and will release at the end of 2021, as well as a version for Amazon Luna and a couple DLC packs. Next, GamesIndustry.biz also announced, and this is our last one, that former Ghostwire Tokyo creative director Ikumi Nakamura is opening her own studio. The news was revealed in a video published the other day on Cutscenes, a YouTube channel run by Japanese press outlet GameSpark, a Japanese documentary maker Archipel. In a 17-minute clip, Nakamura explores a variety of abandoned buildings as she explains in voiceover her ambition to open her own small studio and to work on original intellectual property. The name of the studio has not yet been announced, but this is notable because Ghostwire Tokyo, of course, a game from Tango Gameworks, which is a Bethesda studio, which is now Xbox, and Nakamura, when she originally announced the game at E3 a few years back, people were really smitten with her and really liked her and her bubbly personality and really were excited. She kind of instantly became like a a thing in the community, in the games community or whatever. So a lot of people were kind of like shocked and confused when she left shortly afterwards. And so now this, explains a little bit more of what she's been up to. This video explains a little more about why she left. So you can look into that if you're interested. But with that said, that's going to do it for all of our news this week, guys. Hey, we did finish up a little bit earlier than usual. Not too much, but hey, that's new for Xbox On, whether you like it or not. That's different. Now, guys, this is the time for our new game releases of the week, of which there are 12 new releases. This is the point where we go to Xbox Wire. I say the names of all the new games, and I make fun of them based on nothing more but their title and a screenshot. So our first game of 12 is I Saw Black Clouds, coming out March 30th. So it's out now. Xbox One X enhanced, and this is some FMV game or something, because that's a real picture of a real girl in the woods looking at a bush. So I assume that's real life, not Xbox One X enhancements. Narita Boy comes out now. It's out. It's on Game Pass. You can download it for free. It's a robot that's like smashing stuff, and the screen has like a CRT filter over it. So pretty cool if you're a 80s or 90s kid like me. C14 Dating comes out March 31st, and it says Japanese looking as it sounds. It's optimized for the Series X and X, but I don't know what the fuck that means when you're talking about a dating sim. Escape from Life Inc. comes out March 31st. That's a good name for a game, but the game literally looks like a bunch of defunct Disneyland attraction animatronic figures standing and staring at each other in a 2D plane. Xbox One X enhanced somehow. I don't know how. It's a really rudimentary looking game. Radon Blast comes out March 31st, and it is like a Space Invaders tribute game, but it's a break breaker, so that's actually kind of cool. Not a lot of break breakers these days, so might want to check that out if you like to break bricks. Squad Killer comes out March 31st, so it's out. There's little skeletons dancing around on the screen. There's little ghosts and pellets flying everywhere. This is one of those games that's just trying to grab your money based on the gore factor of the skeletons and whatnot. Akalisha is April 1st. It's out. It's not an April Fool's joke, although I wish it was. April 1st also gets Outriders. It's a Game Pass game. It's optimized for Series X and S. It supports smart delivery, and it looks awesome. I can't wait to play it. I requested the day off Friday so I can play it. I'm really looking forward to it, but I'll probably just go just lay in bed and sleep all day anyway. I don't fucking know. But guys, it's Outriders, April 1st. This is a huge get. But it looks like some game where you play as like some like a mummy type creature with a couple pistols in their arms, in the hands of the arms, I guess. The hands are attached to the arms, and the guns are in the hands of those arms, which are holding the hands. Don't think about it too much, guys. It really is that confusing, but it don't gotta be. Mittelborg City of Mages comes out on April 2nd, and it's a wondrous game for people who have many no friends and like to build empires just to watch them crumble. Papa's Quiz comes out April 2nd. It's like a party game, but I mean, that's what you have a phone for, right? Sturmfront comes out April 2nd. It's an Xbox Play Anywhere game, and it actually looks kind of cool. It looks like a Contra-type top-down variant of a shoot-'em-up game, and might have to take a look at that. It looks kind of interesting. And then lastly, Train Station Simulator is out April 2nd, and it is certainly a Nintendo NES-looking train game. So that's going to do it for all of our new game releases. Guys, it's a new month, which means new games of gold. And two things here. Okay, first of all, here are the new games of gold you get, right? Vikings Wolves of Midgar is available all month, and it's an Xbox One game. Truck Racing Championship is an Xbox One game available all month long, or from April 16th to May 15th, I should say. And I'm actually kind of interested in trying that, so I'm going to download that for sure. And then Dark Void, which is a 360 game from Capcom, is available now until April 15th. And then Hard Corps Uprising, which is, I believe, it's like, I think that's set in the Contra universe or whatever, but that is available from April 16th to April 30th, and it is an Xbox 360 arcade game. Guys, why did I go so slow? What am I trying to bring up? Guys, I want to mention this to you, okay? Here are the PS Plus games. Just like Xbox Live Games of Gold, this is PS Plus, which gives you free games every month, just like Xbox Games of Gold. But this is what you get on PlayStation for April. It's 3 games instead of 4, but much higher quality games. On PS5, you get Oddworld Soulstorm, which is a brand new PS5 game. So you get that for free with PlayStation Plus. And then on the PS4 front, you get Zombie Army Dead War 4, which is an awesome zombie game, part of the Zombie Army trilogy game series, which is a fucking awesome get. And then you get Days Gone, which is arguably one of the biggest, most important must-play games on the PS4, first-party game. So 3 games instead of 4, but all 3 high-profile must-play games. Whereas on Games with Gold, you get 4 games, but all varying degrees of like, what the fuck? So I just want to put this out there, guys, as we continue to get into this world of like Xbox Live being phased out and Gold being phased out, and, you know, these services kind of being sunset as we move more and more into Game Pass. Just want to put out there, maybe it's time to just fucking chop the leg off instead of trying to save it. You know, it's a dying limb that's just attached to this fucking body, and we just gotta chop the thing off and let it go, because who the fuck is looking forward to playing Truck Racing Championship other than maybe me? Or Vikings Wolves of Midgar? Like, come on, guys. Like, just fucking get rid of Games with Gold. It's redundant with Game Pass. You know, we know why Sony needs it. They don't have a Game Pass. We have Game Pass. We don't need Games with Gold. Get rid of this. Get rid of the Gold subscription. Get rid of the Live moniker. Get rid of the paywall for playing games online, which they're already doing right now. Let's move on, guys. The future's here. And with that future, I think we've been afforded the power. And with that power, I encourage each and every one of you to power your dreams. You like that? It's a pretty smart way to end it. Fuck you. We'll see you next week, guys. April Fools. The whole episode was a joke. Fuck you. I'm erasing it all right now. I'm not even going to upload it. April Fools. Fuck you. You're all tiny brain Kotaku readers. Bye-bye.
As the sun is setting, the crooked smile that keeps me guessing, the innocence that I've been wanting, belligerence and all my laughing. And I want you to know that I can't keep control sometimes. Think I know better, but I'm a fool for every word you spoke to me. And you're the ghost